I thought you were starting it.
No, you were starting. I was just yawning.
Okay. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Rose Ed podcast. Obviously, we missed last week. I was very ill, but we're back. I'm back for the penultimate episode of the season. Yeah, it's been a heavy season. Still got the playoffs to go. Second leg against Leeds tomorrow. When this is out, I'll either be a very sad or a very happy man. Um, Adam, how are you?
I'm neither a very happy or a very sad man. I'm in the middle.
Oh, that's the worst way to
I think I
be.
might, I think I might be a very sad man on Sunday seeing Klopp go for the final time.
Oh no, what a
But
shame.
um, but I think yeah, I did what I watched some of the playoffs. I watched your game on that was a tough watch on Sunday. I can't lie. That was
Yeah,
a
no, D David Wagner football isn't for the faint-hearted. I'll put it I'll put it that way.
it was a
Honestly,
proper 0-0. Like it was a
yeah,
horrid
no,
game to
he
watch.
he I genuinely do get the feeling that he wants to win the playoffs without scoring a goal and just sort of just make it that his mission again. Because I
I
think
was
he done that with Huddersfield. They went up without scoring a goal in the playoffs. I'm pretty sure.
watching it. I was like, Jesus, I was trying to stay awake. Like, this is a tough watch, but I suppose it could have been worse. But
Yeah,
yeah,
I'm not
find
looking
out.
forward to tomorrow. I think it's just going to be a very, very tough watch being the second leg and it's still all to play for. So.
I suppose you
Mhm.
wanted to win or at least go away with an advantage going
Well,
into
yeah,
this.
especially at home. Our home form is what's carried us throughout the season.
Mm,
So, then
yeah,
to go to our away where our away form is horrendous this season is but it would be such a Norwich thing to do to go win there in 90 minutes and go to Wembley.
it's
But
just a one-off game in the day, isn't it?
that's the thing now. It is
So
just
it's
a one-off game this because obviously with the first leg
been
finishing nil
irrelevant.
nil. Yeah.
Mm.
Um.
Both of them are though, isn't it? Because the other one was 0-0 as well, wasn't it?
Yeah. Southampton West Brom was nil nil, so that goes back to St Mary's and again
Jesus.
it might as well be a one leg
Do you think that
final.
the the fact there was like a week or whatever like gap between the playoff starting and the league finishing sort of got to them a little bit, like as in they're
No.
all a bit slow or not? Nothing really.
No, we set out to be slow every week, mate. So
Oh,
this is not new. I mean, there's individuals in that team that played well, like Marcelino Nunez and stuff, but
hmm.
overall it was a tiresome affair. Both attacks were nullified. Leeds weren't great. We weren't great. Go to Ellen Road. We'll see what happens. Fingers crossed. That's it. It's one
Up
of
the
them. It's,
Norwich.
it's going to be a one-off game. Like we can talk about form throughout the season and how
Hmm.
much that can affect the game, this, that, and the other. But the fact is,
It's
this is
irrelevant
just
now.
a one-off game.
Yeah.
Like it is a cup final for both sides. Whoever wins wins, and goes to Wembley. Ideally, that's the goal. If we lose at Wembley, I do not care. If just Norwich go to Wembley, with it being on my doorstep,
That'd be pretty cool.
that's the dream, isn't it? That's the dream.
Up the
Um,
Canary.
Up the Canaries. But yeah, obviously Premier League is interesting. I think Man City have all but won the title now with their win over Spurs. Heung-min Son definitely wanted to score that one on one, didn't he?
Yeah, there was actually petitions, wasn't there, on like the papers and stuff saying like he deliberately missed it and stuff. It's a weird like it's such a
I don't think
weird
he did. Because I don't think like, we're seeing what Ange Postecoglou said on it, and he
yeah.
hasn't got that mentality to
I
throw
don't
away a
think
game
he's
in terms of
I
a
think
rival. Obviously, that's more of
on
a
the
fans
pitch,
thing, isn't it?
yeah, I think on the pitch they went for it. Like I didn't actually see the game
It was
because I
some of
was
the best
out.
football they've played for a while, according
Yeah,
to a lot of Spurs
it's just
fans.
the manager wanted them to win. The players looked like they wanted to win. It was just the fans that didn't get behind them. And I
But
think that's
understandably so, to be fair, if it was Norwich and Ipswich in that situation, I would do the exact same thing.
I think it's different watching it on TV and being like that. But if you go to the stadium, I don't think you should be like that.
No,
Maybe
I
that's
would.
just you
No,
would
I
be.
would. Yeah,
You think
yeah.
you'd still be. You'd almost be celebrating the other team scoring.
If it meant Ipswich not winning a league, yeah, or getting promoted or
If you
something,
could
or
still get playoffs, if you're chasing playoffs and you were, because that's the situation Tottenham were in. If they'd have won, they could have still potentially got Champions League.
yeah, true.
Do you know what I mean? I
Yeah,
100%
no,
get
no, no,
why
no. There is that argument.
they had something to play for. That's the thing. Like,
But I think winning the Premier League for Arsenal, their fans are so unbearable. It is a
oh
big
no,
thing.
I
But look,
100% agree. Like, I wanted City to win, but like I wouldn't be there. Like if I was at the stadium, I wouldn't be cheering and like you saw Spurs fans doing the Poznan and stuff. Like it was just you're
that's
watching it
funny.
going like come on, like it's a. I saw the clip on Talksport. It was Jamie O'Hara. He was obviously an ex-Spurs player, also big. He's not a bad at it. He knows nothing about football, and he's wearing a Man City shirt watching it. Just no shame whatsoever. Just like celebrating as
The
if
amount of photos I've seen of Arsenal fans wearing Spurs shirts as well is actually just it's
it's
disgusting.
mental. Like I just like because we had a situation the other year where we needed United to win to beat Man City to for us to potentially win the league. Don't get me wrong, like obviously wanted them to, but I wouldn't be there. Like I'd never put on the United shirt or I'd never be like fully cheering. Do you know what I mean? Like it's a bit like I don't know. It's
Yeah,
a weird situation, like because I felt quite sorry for Ange and the players because I think if they'd have gone out there and absolutely battered them like 6-0, best performance you've ever seen in your life, people would have been annoyed.
that
Which
gets
it's
casted over with the fact that
yeah,
that might have just given Arsenal the title. But then again, look, they lost. Man City won. Man City probably going to be handed the title unless West Ham perform a miracle, which could happen.
that would be quite amusing actually. As much as I want the City to win it, if
It would be
somehow
quite
West
funny
Ham took points off them, it
at
would
the
just make
Etihad as well. Would be
it
it
would
would
make
be
all the
something.
Spurs fans look like such idiots. It would be quite funny.
What would be even funnier is if West Ham did take points off City, but Arsenal couldn't beat Everton. Uh,
Oh, both teams losing or something on the final day. That'd be mental.
and then it's just
Jeez, I'd
oh,
be electrocuted.
be a hell of a.
That,
But this is the good thing about the Premier League this season. The title race has gone down to the final day, which is
yeah,
great.
it's still possible for a couple like two teams to actually win it, and I think the relegation battle still, isn't it? Luton can still stay up, just isn't it?
They're
If
gone.
they
They're down.
is it
They
gone
could,
now or the
yeah. Well, mate, I think it's a crazy goal swing. It needs to be
oh
for
they got to win like 5-0 and hope that
yeah,
the team lose like
yeah,
3-0 as well.
yeah. It's
Yeah.
Luton are down.
So Champions League is decided. So Europa League must be Spurs have pretty much got that wrapped up, haven't they?
Yeah, I believe so. I think they confirmed Europa League. Yeah,
Yeah. So that all it's to play for is, and it's not
the
even really to play for, is the title, isn't it? And really,
and the Conference League. Yeah.
oh yeah,
Well,
it's conference, yeah, because you got Newcastle like playing
when I
United
messaged you
tonight.
saying we might as well react to our Prem predictions because the
No, but
table
you
is
never know.
pretty much there.
We've said we say this, but then actually, like knowing our luck,
But we'll do
both
it
like
next week. We'll do it
it'd
next
be
week
an
when
absolute
the
madness of a
season rounded
final
up.
day, and
Yeah.
somehow we'll win it. Liverpool will end up winning the league after like points deductions on the final day. That's what might happen.
Yeah. Do you know what? I wish I could be a millionaire, and yeah, it could happen, but it probably won't. So
But
there is
yeah, did
that.
you see Ange's press conference
I did.
after? What did you make of that?
I think he's got every right to say what he said. Um,
Would you be worried as a Spurs fan hearing some of the stuff he was saying?
Ange says it completely how it is, but it does stink of like the Conte era when Conte was
Oh,
speaking
constantly
up
just
to
digging
the
out. Yeah.
yeah but I feel like any manager with Spurs, you could have a connection with the fans, connection with the team. But the fact is, the matter the issue with Spurs always lies with Daniel Levy.
Mm.
Um, and that's where it always goes wrong. You had a handful of unbelievable managers at Tottenham: Pochettino, Mourinho, Conte, now Postecoglou. How many of them have fell out with the board?
Mm.
All of them. I think
That's the thing.
that answers the question. So he's got absolutely every right to say what he says because the connection he's built is not with Daniel Levy, it's with the fans and the players and the
But then
club.
he
It's
was
not.
arguably digging out the fans as well a bit yesterday, wasn't he?
Yeah, but I
He
think he
was
was digging
saying
out
like,
for the fans purely because of wanting them to lose, and he doesn't want that mentality, which is
'cause that's
fair
what
enough.
he
But
was
that
like. He's realized stuff, and maybe it's just like because Spurs are in. I was listening to Talksport, and there was a fella that came on, and he was like, he was saying that Spurs are so obsessed with just beating Arsenal, like whether it be positionally or in league or whatever, that like they've sort of like they're
their
just
own
constantly,
achievements are nullified because they're
yeah.
so focused on Arsenal not achieving anything.
They went like, would you rather win? Like they were like, would you be happy to win the Premier League if Arsenal won the Champions League? And they were like, no, because Arsenal have never won the European Cup. And I'm like, if it meant Liverpool
Yeah,
winning
but
the
Spurs never won
title,
the Premier League.
that's the thing. I
That's
was like, surely
crazy.
you'd say yes to that. Like, if Liverpool winning the Premier League and Man United win the Champions League, I'd take it. Like,
Yeah, but Man
don't get me
United have
wrong.
already won the Champions League. So there is that sort of
That's I suppose it's a bit different, but like I don't know, like for me it's like if you're winning the biggest, like surely Spurs wouldn't like they never ate like their expectations to like some fans are like they should be like competing for top four in every trophy. But then realistically, from what would it seems like within the club, they're
Mm,
just happy for like, do you know what I mean? Like lower, like higher mid table, that like sixth, seventh, eighth place. They're happy with that.
mm.
Do you know what I mean? Like it doesn't seem like there's that, like you said with leaving stuff. They're really pushing for fourth, pushing for to like at the start of the season they were in the title race. I know it was very brief, wasn't it? Like, but we sat here and spoke about them for
We
a good
sat here and
number of
spoke about how
weeks.
good Spurs were.
Yeah, I
Um,
know they had injuries and stuff which have affected them.
but even then, since those players have come back after that
Like
Chelsea game,
Madison's been poor since coming back. To be
but
honest, he's not
To be
been
fair,
half the time.
end of season Madison is an absolute dog. Like,
Yeah,
he's awful.
yeah.
Compared to start of the season, Madison. Yeah, I don't really know where it's all gone wrong for Spurs because I mean there's a lot of contributing factors. I don't think we can really blame it on injuries. You can blame part
Mm.
of it on injuries, absolutely,
Yeah.
but
At
I
the
just
midpoint of the
don't.
season,
Yeah, I
yeah, but
don't
not
think you
now.
can blame the majority on injuries. I think this back end of the season is purely Spurs just being Spursy.
So do you think it
And
was?
it's the mentality, I think. And I don't think there's anything to
Yeah.
do with Ange. I think this is again what you've brought up with the fans as well.
Mm.
So focused on Arsenal.
They just focus on everyone else but themselves. Like it's like they constantly want to keep the attention off of Spurs. Do
Yeah,
you think it's like obviously at the start they were overachieving, but like massively being like because they were like top at
but
one
they
point,
were
weren't they?
playing well. The
Do
thing
you
is that
think now
they
it's
were
just
beat.
like this is Spurs? This is what you're saying. This is where they're meant to be. Fifth, sixth place.
But I
This is
also
them.
think that you have to give Ange Postecoglou time. We've seen what he can do with this squad and
Oh
what's
yeah,
there. But
yeah.
maybe them not performing as a player is not believing in his philosophy anymore. I don't know. I think
It's
there's
a
a lot
hard one, isn't it?
there is a lot going on at Spurs that is gonna it's
It's
going to
so
be
up and
interesting.
down.
It's going to be interesting to see
Mm,
what happens next season. Whether Ange is still here, obviously what he said in the press conference could well get him sacked.
mm,
Um, but yeah, we'll see what happens with Spurs in
mm.
the coming months.
Yeah, no, that will definitely be interesting. Like you said, because it wouldn't shock me if like he stayed for the summer and if they didn't buy the right players to sort of back him up, he just
He'd leave.
goes,
Yeah,
yeah, he'll just go and find United or someone will take him
yeah.
and buy him whatever he wants.
But I do want to bring up one team in terms of if we're talking into next season is Crystal Palace under
Mm.
Oliver Glasner. He has transformed some players. I mean, we always knew the quality of Eze and Elise and what they possess, but they've become world beaters in this league. They've been phenomenal. But another player that I want to talk about that I'm a huge
Oh,
fan of,
I know what you're gonna
Jean-Philippe
say.
Mateta.
Oh, the French R9.
I think his record since Oliver Glasner's come in, they've had 12 games. Jean-Philippe Mateta in that space has scored 10 goals.
He just he's
He
turned
scored
he's,
no, but he scored 13
yeah,
goals all season. He scored
it's
10 under
mental.
Oliver Glasner, 3 under
Because
Hodgson.
Glasner's only been there like 2 months, hasn't it, or
Yeah,
something
since end of
like.
February. Yeah, end of February he
Yeah,
came in.
and it shows how quickly like the right manager can put like we've like not to go back to Spurs, but you just said, oh, give Ange a year, you've seen what you can do. You've given Glasner 2 months with a squad that's nowhere near the level of Spurs, and he's already made like turn them into like maybe if
He's
he'd
got
come in soon,
Nathaniel Klein playing right centre back, and he's balling it.
Klein not having to Klein slander here,
No,
ex Liverpool. I know what you mean. Like they're playing that like Wharton in midfield looks quality, and people are calling for him to get in the Euros over like Kobe Mino and stuff.
I'd say so.
Might be a bit soon, but
No,
he
I don't
might.
think so.
He does look decent, but he won't play much. I wouldn't have thought over Rice,
Yeah,
but he'd
but
be good experience.
getting him in that area and to learn off Rice as well, because he's a very similar player to Declan Rice as well. I think
He is,
he
yeah.
will
He's
learn
linked
a
with
lot.
Bayern Munich as well.
And look, let's be real here. Did Kobe Manu play in the 4-0 loss to Crystal Palace?
He did, yeah.
You
He
could have
was
fooled
there.
me.
Yeah. No, I
You
know,
could have
and
fooled me.
oh yeah, no, he did he looked really good even when he played at Anfield against us. Wharton. He played obviously they won. He looked quality. Um, and he's been linked with a move to Bayern Munich for like 60, 70 million, which
Don't think he'll
is
take that
mental.
quite yet. I think he'll want to prove himself in the Premier League for a couple of
Yeah,
seasons,
he's
and at Palace
skinny,
as well
short,
because it's
but
such an
it's like,
exciting project now.
hmm.
You know, obviously Eze and Elise, if they stay,
Do you think they'll stay? I think one goes. I think
I
Elise will
think
go.
yeah, I think Elise goes with anyone. I don't think Eze goes. Um,
Their
but
injury
again,
record's the scary bit about them, though. It's the only doubt of them. It's that
yeah,
injury record. They play like 2/3 of a season, maybe if that.
yeah,
Sometimes,
that's the thing.
like
If Glasner can keep them fit, and if he can keep hold of them next season, I covered the game on radio over the weekend against Wolves. You know, mid-table mediocrity this season, but I generally think
you could push for Europe.
definitely. Mate,
Yeah,
they're
100%.
thumping all the top teams. They're beating you. They're beating Newcastle. They're beating West Ham. They're
They're
beating
home for like
Man
Selhurst Park's
United.
always been a tricky place to go as well for a lot of teams.
Now it's who go their final day of the season? It's going to be Villa, isn't it? I think they'll do the job on Villa. I
I
mean,
think
Villa
it is,
already
yeah.
confirmed Champions League spot for
Yeah.
next season, so why not? Yeah, absolutely.
And that's the thing. I think Elise will go, unfortunately. Whether it be, I know United are linked with him quite heavily. I worry that he goes to United and they just kill him. Like he just won't be that guy. Like I don't want him to go to City either because that he won't have any freedom to do his thing.
And
I know
Foden already
PSG,
kind of occupies that space that he
yeah,
plays anyway.
like PSG are linked with him
I
because he's French,
mm,
which
do you know
could
what?
be a good move. But
If I see Elisa going anywhere, it's going to be abroad.
do you think?
Yeah, I think he'll go abroad.
You think
Um,
PSG something like that? Then is probably the only
I
because
don't see a club in England that
he doesn't
he'd
fit.
really
Like
fit into.
we don't need it. If we sold Salah, maybe I'd see us getting him, but he's a lot like they'll also want like 70, 80 million. And I don't think English teams might not take that risk considering his injury record. Whereas in
But he's
Europe,
also
they'll probably
proven
get him for a bit less.
in the Premier League, so there is that
And he's only what, like 20? He must only be like 22, isn't he?
something
20.
like that. He's young.
Yeah, he's
He's
really
young.
young. Because I think that, as you said, they're both quality. I think the thing with Mateta, you just worry it is just a ridiculous purple patch. Because before that, he was not very good.
He was stinking for about
It was
whenever
I
since he
like the
signed.
fact you would play ahead of him and you would like isn't brilliant. It showed you a lot. So, or even Edward was there, wasn't he, at times?
Yeah,
Uh,
Edouard's still at the club,
yeah,
but don't.
I think
His Jean-Philippe Matessa's goal record is scarily
it
good
is
in his
mental
last
because
12
they've got
games.
solid players throughout the team. Like you think, like Anderson at the back with Gahey, they're both good. Tyreek Mitchell's good. Wharton in midfield. Will Hughes still rocking about, balling about. They've got Decore's been injured as well for a lot of the
Yeah.
season, and he was linked with us for like 70 million at the start of the season. So you had him back to that team as well. And the fact you very rarely actually see Eze and Elise start together is
But
mental as
when
well.
they do, and
But
Mateta
when they
is
do,
on red hot
yeah,
form, they're a team to be
exactly.
reckoned
Like,
with.
yeah,
They're not bad, are
100%.
they?
It's just injuries that is their biggest issue, I think, with them. Their squad's not deep enough that as
Yeah.
soon as they lose one or two, it's the drop-off's massive.
Well,
Um,
if we kind of know the three to go down already this season,
yeah.
obviously being the three that come up. If there's any team that's still in the Premier League this season, who do you think will struggle the most next season?
Um, Trying to think. I think mm, maybe I said Everton at the start of the year because they just
No, but
keep missing.
I think Everton this season have proved that they're going to be
I think
far
they've
too
proven they
yeah they're going to
can,
be
and
far
with the
too
new
good
stadium and
to go
stuff,
down.
I think it will boost them.
I think they'll be
Maybe
fine next
Forest.
season. Forest for
Maybe
me, Forest for me,
yeah,
absolutely.
because I think they'll lose like a Gibbs White. Hudson-Odoi could get a move somewhere maybe, and
Mm.
then a lot of their players are loaned halfway around Europe. They'll lose all
And
their
the other half of the squad is very mediocre.
exactly. That's why they loaned in like 20 players or
Mm.
bought 20 players in
Well, you
like
got that
two windows.
Taiwo Awoniyi who at the start of the season was banging in goals for fun, but
He's just been
now he's
injured, struggled. Yeah,
in,
Chris Wood's been their man, which says enough, isn't it?
yeah. When
Uh,
Chris Wood's your main striker, you
he
need to
did
have
score an
everything.
unbelievable hat trick at St James's Park, though. That was a mental hat trick at St James's
Yeah,
Park.
I guess so. There is that. So
But I think them will be my, especially because they won't be able to sign too much because of the financial issues already.
exactly, they've had a points
But
deduction.
they'll, yeah,
The
I
club's
think
in
it
a
will definitely be
bit of a mess. Yeah, no, I do see Forest
Forest. Can't think of
struggling
anyone else
massive.
really that screams to me like they'd be in. Wolves
Uh,
maybe if they lose a couple big players, but
yeah, if they
they've got a
lose like
good
a
enough
Matthias Cunha
squad.
or a Huang
I think if like
Hee-chan,
Neto or Val Gomez goes, people like that,
mm,
maybe they could struggle, but
Mario
they've got
Lamina
a
as
good enough
well.
manager. They've got a good enough manager that I think will keep them.
Yeah, Gary
Uh,
O'Neill's good. Bournemouth as
yeah,
well. Good day struggle. I think Iraola's done a very good job there.
yeah. He's just signed a new contract, hasn't he? Like
Brentford
Son,
maybe
he's
could they
obviously always
struggle
linked with the moves.
Brentford if they lose Ivan Toney?
Do you think he'll? Do you think he could still go?
I think
I
so.
don't think.
I
I
think
don't think
yeah.
he's been good enough.
If to be fair, if he wanted that move, he should have gone in January.
I think yeah, but the issue is no one was willing to pay the money. I think that's what it was. They wanted 100 million. He's come
Mm,
back and he's played like a 40, 50 mil player at best.
he's been
Uh,
awful.
so Brentford, if they wanted it, they wanted him gone. They should have cashed in. But also now teams like I know Arsenal will be looking at Isaac. I know he because Newcastle in a bit of trouble because they've got to sell, haven't they?
Yeah, they got to
Uh,
sell to be able to buy.
Not relegation battle, obviously, but like they'll have to sell either him or Bruno Guimaraes or Anthony Gordon for upwards of 70 million because all of them probably are worth that. So teams will look at spending that 70, 80 million on Isaac instead of an 80 million on Tony because Isaac's bang in form.
Yeah,
Um,
he's in very good
so
form at the
yeah,
minute.
Tony, to be fair, Brentford could be in a bit of trouble as well. I think it's just so interesting with the Euros, I think, because the transfer's always so mental over the Euros. Someone buys what they think's the next wonder kid after a breakout tournament,
I remember
and
when
he just
Asamoah Gyan signed for Sunderland.
oh,
You've got I remember
yeah.
Norwich signed Michael McGovern of Northern Ireland after the 2016 Euros because they drew 0-0 with Germany. So
I love it.
uh, yeah, he stayed at the club for like 6, 7 years and then just made about 30 appearances in that time. Was
Oh,
was a very small goalkeeper though. Wasn't great. Um,
uh,
but yeah, no, there's been loads of I reckon we'll see a few. Um,
mm. Well, James Rodriguez was one to Real Madrid, obviously, that he sort of fell off a little bit, didn't he?
yeah,
And what he's doing now, but people like that, or even Amrabat to Man
so
United
yeah,
on loan.
yeah,
He's living
Cam,
off that one slide tackle on Mbappe, which he's been shit ever since.
yeah.
So
Trying to think of
like
any
that.
other ones. Oh,
I
I
can't
mean,
think of any off the top of my head, but I know there's, as I said, we've gone for a few there.
yeah, no, true.
So, but that's what happened. Everyone
I'll tell you what.
will.
There's another one. Cody Gapco to Liverpool.
Oh well, don't he's found a foot bit of form recently,
He's
but
yeah,
yeah,
he's kind of. But to be fair, prior to that, he's been a
but yeah, and the
I
fact
mean,
it was only about 40 mils, not too bad, but I think
yeah,
it's
because
yeah,
he
he
had
was
a really
definitely
good
one.
World Cup as well, didn't he? So
He had a great World Cup and then had a good start to it, and then just fell off for like 7, 8 months, and then only recently found form again.
yeah,
But yeah,
but yeah. Well, I guess we'll look forward to the final day of the season. Adam, any last words?
up the Norwich, and the next time we're
Yes.
recording, Norwich, there won't be a Premier League club because obviously the playoffs won't have played yet, but they'll be in the final of the playoffs.
I
I'm
love your
optimistic.
optimism. I wish I had that energy
I'm
right now because
optimistic.
I really don't. I'm very nervous for the game against Leeds tomorrow
I'll,
night.
I'll even I'll watch it tomorrow, but if it's as bad as it was last week, I'm not going to be happy.
I
Like,
can't promise. I generally think if we're going to go to Wembley, we're going to do it without scoring a goal in both legs. So
might put a bet. Do you know what? I might put a bet on under like zero point 0.5 goals just to make because then it won't come in because the game will be really exciting. Then I'll do like under 2 goals
yeah,
and
but
then I
then
like
I feel like
four.
we're going to lose like 2-3-0 then, and then the game's going to be a bit. Ah.
That's true.
Well, we'll see. But anyway, cheers for listening and watching the Rosa podcast. And we will be hopefully back next week, and we won't take another week break with our end of season. Um, we'll look back at our Premier League predictions and all have a laugh because I'm pretty sure I had Burnley 11th.
I think
So
you had Liverpool seventh as well, from what I remember. So that was it. We've definitely had some stinkers. I
I'm
think we all
pretty
had
sure I
you.
had Villa 4th though. So I think I'm
I
kind
think you
of
might have done, to be fair. Yeah.
I think I'm
So
safe there.
it'll be interesting to look back at them and
Definitely.
see
But cheers for watching, guys, and we'll see you later. Oh, where's the stop button?